What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the 1912 Exiles podcast. Now, I normally review games in chronological order, but I'm going to jump straight into last night's tie against Wrexham. So, what a night, really. We had over 4,000 in the stadium, and massive credit to Wrexham for bringing 500 away fans, especially on a Tuesday night game. In a busy period, so massive respect to them and all the county fans as well who made it out on a Tuesday night to support the team. The atmosphere was absolutely bumping, and let's get straight into what happened. So we were demanding a response after a lacklustre performance in the first leg against Wrexham, where we looked like the second best side. And today, I think we definitely showed what we were about. I think the sending off after 12 minutes made it very difficult for Wrexham. They dropped deep and were very difficult to break down in the first half. But I just think the pressure and the mental and physical fatigue of just defending so long eventually paid out dividends for us. That being said, Wrexham probably had the best chance of the first half with a phenomenal save from Joe Day from Rutherford. And it's probably the only thing he did in the game, but it was a very important save to make. And after the Swindon game, where I don't think he had his best day, once again a few dodgy moments, which seems to be the story of his season, combining game-defining saves and then also moments of rushes of blood to the head where he kind of makes mistakes that result in opposition goals. But second half, we started really well. We almost straight away got a goal from Amond. It was a brilliant corner from Dolan. We know the quality delivery we expect from him now. Came in, really powerful header from Franks and just Amond in the right place at the right time. Real poacher's effort just to direct that. All the power was put on it by Franks and he just directs it straight past the keeper, which was brilliant. And then we had an aggressive change from Flynn then at 1-0, where he brought Bennett off, which may be also kind of saving Scott Bennett because he's just come back from injury. We had to make two changes to the side because we lost Mark O'Brien and Crofts to injury again. So that may be one to watch because they haven't played a lot this season. But we brought Wilmot on for Bennett, and that almost paid immediate rewards because there was a brilliant ball across the box from Wilmot out wide, and Jamil Matt showing great composure and another great finish just to slot it in the corner. And that made it 2-0, and I think one of the accusations against the side earlier this season was at 1-0, we hadn't always been putting sides away, making it quite tense. And we also had a couple of games where I think the opposition came in and equalised. So it's great to see that once we went 1-0 up, especially against 10 men, we thought, let's go for this. We didn't just sit back and try and wait out the game. And then once we got the 2-0, we carried on then. We were just putting them under constant pressure. They were really struggling to get out and create anything. The lone striker was isolated for them. And then eventually we had chance after chance. And the Amond drive across goal just could have gone anywhere really, but it's taken a deflection off the defender and gone past the keeper. But I think if it hadn't, it might have either crept in at the back post or we had a player coming in on the back post as well that could have just tapped that in if he could have got to it. And then the final goal was an absolute thunderbolt from Dan Butler. 25 yards, which helps when the 22 markings are still on the pitch to work out how far out it was. But he's absolutely smashed it past the keeper. Absolutely brilliant strike, and shows again what Dan Butler's capable of. He was brilliant last night. We can probably say that about every game that he plays, but he was brilliant and just kept on quality delivery. He was such an outlet and a danger for the opposition, and then that goal just kind of demonstrated again another part of his skill set and how well he can strike a ball, and that puts him on 4 for the season. So only Matt on 13 and Amond on 12 and Semenyo on 5 have scored more than Butler. And again, like I said last week, I think we may be fielding offers for him in January, just the way he's been playing this season. But ultimately, that results in us going through, and we will be having that home tie against Leicester. Most of the media are reporting that it's over £200,000 that it's worth in just prize money for appearing in that round and TV fees. And then put on top of that a bumper gate that we can expect. Leicester will use their full quota, I'd imagine, of away fans. And we saw around 5,000, I think, for the Leeds game last season. So I think we can realistically expect that again for the 6th of January clash. So it's a Sunday game against Leicester. And once again, we did it against Leeds last year. We held Tottenham to a draw. So we've got every reason to be confident in this tie, that we can get something out of it, and either a replay or going through to the next round would be a great result once again for the club, and it's boosting those finances, which I know you can't rely on a good cup run every year, but if we can just get a couple of seasons, it can really add to the financial stability of the club. So moving on from there, we had the game against Swindon on Saturday, which was a difficult away tie. I think we'll be disappointed to not come away with a point there, though. I think both goals probably came from a combination of bad defending. The second one was probably a goalkeeper mistake, and we conceded early for the first goal very early again, which has been a bit of a trend this season, unfortunately. But we got back into the game with an equaliser from Amond, I believe. It was Amond who got that one. He's scored in each of our last 3 games, so he's on a nice scoring run. And then right at the death, we conceded another goal, which cost us the point that we'd kind of put ourselves in a position to earn, which is disappointing. This is a really key period in our league campaign. We're down to 6th now, and we've got MK Dons at home this weekend, Lincoln away, Forest Green at home, and Crawley at home. So I think that's really got the potential, this period of pretty tough games, to really determine whether we are in the playoff hunt come mid-January, or if we are looking like we're going to be a mid-table side like we were last season, where we dropped off the pace around Christmas time. The fixtures haven't been kind to us, with Lincoln and MK Dons back-to-back, and Swindon away, which is a tough tie. And throw in the distraction of the league, the FA Cup games as well. That has the potential to distract from our season, which I think happened a little bit last year. But if we are mid-table, then a cup run is always beneficial. But it would be really nice to see us push on from our early season form and secure that promotion or playoff place that we really would deserve from the start of our season. It would be a shame to see us drop off now. And finally, we had the Tuesday night game last week against Cheltenham in the Checkatrade Trophy. I was correct in my assumption last week that we would be resting and rotating players, especially with such a busy period coming up. So we had 7 changes. We brought in Nick Townsend, Jay Fulston, so it's very good to see him finally getting some game time. Cameron Pring, Tyler Forbes, Charlie Cooper came in, and Semenyo and Harris came in for that one. And unfortunately, it was a 1-1 draw after regular time, and 13 successive penalties were scored in the penalty shootout after that one. And eventually, Mark Harris was the unlucky player to have his penalty kick saved, and we lost 7-6 on penalties. So we were knocked out of the Checkatrade Trophy, but I think that was just a bonus competition. I'm sure Flynn would have been focusing on the FA Cup and the league run that we've got at the moment. So if we'd stayed in the Checkatrade, I think it just would have been a nice bonus, and that was probably demonstrated by the players he brought in, really, just players after some game time and using it as a chance to rest a few players. That being said, Hammond once again popping up with the goal and playing the full 90 as well. He gets through some work as well in 90 minutes. Hammond and Butler are my two favourite players in this side at the moment, along with Demetrio, I think. Just absolutely brilliant. They play so many minutes, and they all work so hard as well when they play. So full credit to them for their levels of fitness and just looking after themselves, getting their bodies right between games, be able to keep going through the season. Another nice thing, in that game, we saw the return of Josh Labadie, and he continued that against Wrexham as well. He came on off the bench, continued to get minutes under his belt. So hopefully he'll be ready to start soon and contribute towards the side. I think we will need a lot of players will get used over this busy period. In December, we've still got another 4 games before New Year, so that is going to be a test of all the players. But it's something to look forward to now. The clash against the Foxes. Like I said, I think we got a good chance of getting a result. One thing I have noticed is our home attendance this season, just in the league, is 3,200. So we're 200 down, despite doing really well on what we were sort of pulling in last season. And one thing I noticed, there's probably several factors involved in it, but having Premier League competition is one that's always mentioned, and Cardiff's attendance has increased by almost an average of 10,000 this season. So I think we possibly have been suffering due to the competition. There may well be some Premier League fans who have gone over to start watching Cardiff in order to get the tickets to watch the big six sides, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, Man Uniteds, Arsenals, and Chelseas. Which I know a few people who were Swansea fans, or they were fans of Premier League side, sorry, and they started going to watch the Swans when they went up, and they ended up becoming firm Swansea fans rather than their usual sort of previous Man United or Liverpool following that they'd had. So it'd be a shame for us to lose shame for us to lose fans, sorry, who go over to watch Cardiff just to see a couple of the big Premier League sides and end up switching allegiances, which would be a massive shame. And with our success as well, another good cup run, we're doing pretty well in the league. We can compete for promotion throughout the season. I'm hoping that those fans will come back, because we need the people in the ground. We need feet in the terraces, bums on seats to help us grow. And I was really hoping when we started doing well at the start of the season that we'd see those attendances climb towards the 4,000 mark. And it's quite disappointing to see them regress slightly. But that's it from me for this week. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are behind sort of the stay away fans that we've had this season. Is it just that we brought in a big crowd at Yeovil and took a thumping, and people just don't want to come back and see it, or do you reckon there's other pressures from elsewhere? Let me know in the comments or on the message boards. Once again, if you've enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to give it a like. We are available on Buzzsprout, iTunes, and the Amber Army YouTube channel. Thanks very much for listening. Up the county.